Welcome back to Big Mouth, and we are live. Let's see if anyone's going to come in. I want to talk about DC fandome. I want to know what you're looking forward to. What and who do you want to see there? Let's see if anyone comes in. Let's hope this stream has better reception. Hello, welcome. I'm live. We're talking DC fandome returns. I always thought that DC fandome would return after the success of last year. I couldn't be more happier. Ask anything. Tell me what you want to see in DC fandome on October the 16th. As I say, I always thought it would return. Obviously, DC content will not be at Comic-Con. If there is one at San Diego, I think this is a much better concept. I think this is genius by WB and Walter Hamada to come up with this in the first place. It was so much fun, wasn't it? Kind of a bittersweet situation. And this time last year, we were looking forward to seeing a sneak peek of Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. This year, do you think there will be an announcement to restore the Snyderverse, even after what Grace Randolph has said? Is there a chance? I think there's always hope. But what do I want to see at DC fandome? I want to see Henry Cavill. I want to see a trailer for Aquaman 2, The Batman, Black Adam, Flashpoint. This is really exciting. We're going to find out how these things are shaping up. And as I've already said, I'd love to know what you're looking forward to at DC fandome 2021. October the 16th. When I saw the promo come up on my YouTube, I couldn't believe it. I thought, is this last year's promo? No, it's this year's promo. So I'm just really, really hyped that we're getting it. And if you think about it, it's not just the movies. It's Green Lantern Corps, it's Peacemaker, it's Gotham PD. There's a lot of stuff coming out in 2022 for DC live action. And of course, this new Superman movie being developed. What is it all about? Who's in it? Is JJ directing it? Is someone else doing it? We know Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing it. But there's so many things to look forward to for DC fandome 2021. So, as I say, let me know what you're looking forward to. Are you excited that DC fandome is coming back again? Are you still frustrated that there is no Restore the Snyderverse? Joel Davies, hello, sir. Hello, Joel. What do you think of DC fandome 2021? Are you excited? Really pleased to have you on the stream. As you know, you can ask me questions. I'm not monetized. You don't have to pay for it. Isn't that good? It's free. DC fans talking about DC content without having to pay some random idiot who doesn't know anything anyway about, I don't know any more than you do, but we're here to chat. I am very much, yes, Joel, so am I. There's so many things to look forward to. This is going to be a great event. Last year's event was sensational. It was so exciting. But what was your highlight of last year's fandom? Mine was the Batman. I should say Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. But I recently rewatched what Matt Reeves was saying. He's so passionate, so knowledgeable about this character in DC Comics and his history. And I very much feel that he's not just creating a Batman universe, but a brand new Earth. This is officially DC Earth 2. So I'm very much excited to see more Matt Reeves oozing about the Batman, telling us what he's got planned. It's going to be amazing. So that's one thing I'm certainly looking forward to. And what is Aquaman 2? Who's in it? Is Black Manta in it? I hope so. Because even though people accuse Jeff Johns of squeezing Black Manta in there, I thought he was amazing. And the visuals for the fighting against him and Arthur Curry, a.k.a. Aquaman, was sensational. So that's something else I'm excited about. As I've already said, J.J. Abrams' Superman, that's interesting. And look, there's just so much to look forward to. Let's hope they will restore the Snyderverse. And that's from Pramila Saina. Yes, absolutely. I would love an announcement. And if you lot and I keep on fighting, anything is possible. You know what I'm like. Sometimes I'm up here about the Snyderverse being restored. Sometimes I'm down here. I don't know. Sometimes I haven't got hope. I'm starting to think again that anything's possible. Grace Randolph said what she said, but she isn't God. She isn't Superman. Superman's my God, by the way, not God. Superman is the man, right? So anyway, yeah, don't give up hope. Personally, if I had an HBO Max subscription, I wouldn't be unsubscribing just yet. Keep on fighting, but that doesn't mean you don't. I'm not telling you what to do. Let's be clear about that. So, as I say, what are you looking forward to? Any questions? What are your feelings about all of this? Big surprise a day after these rumours about Restore the Snyderverse not happening as well. Interesting timing. Man of Steel 2, please God. Oh yeah, Premilia Sani, absolutely. Man of Steel 2 actually should have happened after Man of Steel, by the way. And I know Batman versus Superman is kind of a Man of Steel sequel, but it wasn't the one that David S. Goyer envisioned. And that was going to be awesome. We were going to have the codex, that, you know, the codex was going to be extracted from Superman. It was going to be an amazing film. And because a Man of Steel didn't make over $1 billion, they didn't give it to David S. Goyer. And that's a shame, because I love Man of Steel, and that's his vision, and that's his movie, and that's his story, by the way. Let's get that right. Sam Dijan reviews Man of Steel 2, please. Yes. Yes. Or maybe Henry Cavill's Superman and Michael B. Jordan's Superman in a movie together. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it be great to see a Superman of color with a white Superman standing together? I've already mentioned that on a video I'll be uploading later on. It is my latest Big Mouth Daily. Takes about 8 hours for my videos to upload, unfortunately. My internet is rubbish, as you can see. But it's very, very exciting. And I thought I'd have my dinner, and I said I'm gonna connect with the guys here, the guys and the girls and everyone else, and we're gonna talk about this, because I'm just so excited. I didn't know what to do, and sometimes Twitter can be a bit negative. Batfleck movie with Rogues Gallery, yes please, yes please. As I say, anything is possible. You see, a scenario you're looking at here with the Snyderverse, we may not get a full restoration of the Snyderverse, but things like Affleck's The Batman could happen. Things like Zack directing Wonder Woman 3 could happen. It would be amazing. A Batfleck movie, I think Ben wants it. The fans want it. It is possible. This is money. This is money. Plain and simple, but certain people have to keep their gobs shut about what happened in the past, and we have to be positive. And we need to keep on hashtagging Restore the Snyderverse, doing the great events that you lot do. Brilliant events. I'm not responsible for these events. I don't organise them. I just join in. But the wonderful people who are so passionate, so more passionate than I am, let's be honest about it. Premilia Sani, Green Lantern series casting announcement. Well, I think those casting announcements will come before, but I think we'll see a trailer for Green Lantern Corps. That's definite. Really excited for that series. It's not going to have Jon Stewart. It's not going to have the other guy Ryan Reynolds played. What's his name? I forgot his name. Never mind. But I'm really excited. I do like the direction we're going in. It's a shame about the Snyderverse, because I think that could have been a big part over on HBO Max. And who knows what we'll get. But I do think their plans and the projects, they've got 4 movies next year and 3 HBO Max original series as well. That's massive. And who knows what else we're going to get. I would imagine a few people have been asking me about when do I think J.J. Abrams' Superman movie will be released. I suspect 2023, so we've got a couple of years to wait. That's how I see it. But maybe J.J. Abrams will actually be at DC Fandome. Wouldn't that be amazing? Hello, Nick, from Nikolai Vega. Hello, Nikolai Vega. Of course, we know each other, don't we? Yes, Black Superman, very excited about it. I love Kal-El as Superman, but he's been in so many iterations. Isn't it fair that people of colour have a representation? There's at least 2 versions I know of a Superman of colour. There's no reason it can't be done, and done well. So, yes, Nikolai Vega, yes. And so I'm excited. You know, I'm a measured guy. So I think that's fair. I'd like to see a Native American Superman. There's not one of them, is there? And Native Americans get very little representation, and considering it really is their country. I mean, let's be fair here. I don't want to get political, but it's a bit unfair, the lack of representation that everyone else gets. People of color get a lot of representation in terms of minorities. But yes, excited about Superman. I'm intrigued what kind of movie the Aquaman sequel will be. Of course, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I think that's an interesting movie coming from David F. Sandberg as well, getting the team back together. And so a lot to look forward to. I think if you're a DC fan like I am, I think you can only be positive. And as I say, I know a lot of diehard Snyder fans are going to be seeing all of this as a negative and maybe posting negative stuff about it. A Flash movie teaser, Pramila Saini. Yes, absolutely. A Flash movie teaser trailer. The Flash, Nikolai, yes, absolutely. Again, the Flash, because this is the thing. This is the thing that reasserts the DCEU. This is the thing that restructures the DCEU. This is such a pivotal, important movie, and I can't wait to see it. It's hopefully going to be an amazing movie, but it's a kind of a Flashpoint movie. It doesn't look like they're calling it Flashpoint, but Barry Allen certainly is going to go back in time, save his mother's life, and create an alternate universe because of it. Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be in it and maybe become a Batman Beyond and train Batgirl in the central universe of the DCEU. Now, I can't see how you can't be excited for that. Nathan Cross, hi Mickey, I love your Snyderverse content. Can I get a shout out? Nathan Cross, you're awesome. There you go. Is that how shout outs work? I don't know. I don't do many shout outs. I'm not popular enough to do shout outs. Nicolai Vega, that can be cool. Yeah, absolutely. It's all, listen, it's great to be fans and wonder what they're going to do and wonder what they're going to give us. And by the way, so far, such a positive stream. I wasn't sure how people would be feeling. And it's good that people have come in on the stream being positive about this, because I think it's awesome. And I think there's a good future ahead. And as I say, and as I always say, it's a shame about the Snyderverse, but there's a lot of bad blood gone down there. But we can only hope that it's restored. Ultimately, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, because nobody really knows, not even Grace Randolph. Nobody knows. Sam Dejan reviews. Green Lantern series, yes. I think it's going to be amazing. I think when was the last time we saw Green Lantern? Well, we saw him in an animated series. We saw him just before that in the Ryan Reynolds movie. I actually don't mind the Ryan Reynolds movie. It's a bit ropey in places. But the OR stuff on the Lantern's planet, it looks amazing. It's actually pretty cool. That opening sequence and everything, I really like it. So I don't think I agree with people who don't like that movie flat out. I think there's some good things about it, like there is Superman Returns. I still think with Superman Returns, we should have got the Return to Krypton sequence. I don't know why they cut it out. Typical WB, right? I do have it on a bonus feature. It is sensational. We should have seen that scene. It would have really set up the tragedy of Superman not having Krypton. Pramila Sane, Justice League Dark for HBO Max. Oh, yes, Pramila. Oh, yes, that's going to be awesome. That's in J.J. Abrams' Roadhouse. I'm really curious. And then we've got Zatanna as well. Very exciting. We'll see how we get on with that. Let's hope they don't drown us in identity politics and they actually do something good. Who knows with modern day Hollywood these days if they actually do think about the audience or the content anymore. So fingers crossed. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and it's going to be sensational. And I think as a DC fan, I can only be excited. I remember the dark days when we didn't have a franchise. I remember when we had Superman Returns, Green Lantern. It started then, though, didn't it? Superman Returns, Batman Begins, Green Lantern. Those films pretty much came back to back, and we really haven't looked back since. There's always been something in the live action realm. We've had Arrowverse. I want both Snyderverse and Hamadaverse for DC. Yeah, well, that's what's on the table. That's the only thing. There's no way you're going to get the only way you'll get Snyderverse instead of Hamadaverse is if the Hamadaverse fails. If Flashpoint doesn't work, then they'll beg Zack to come back. I assure you of that, and that will be the last swing of the dice. Then it'll be done. They'd have to start again. They probably should have started again after Justice League, but Flashpoint is a kind of starting again. But it's basically, they don't want to go back and start from scratch, so that's what they're doing. Nicola Vega, hope a Deathstroke series. Yes, absolutely fantastic. That would be amazing. Look, there's so many options here within the Snyderverse to integrate and do over on HBO Max. I don't understand what the issue is. If they have personal issues with Zack and Ray Fisher, that's something that is going to have to be ironed out, because these people are running the thing. The IP belongs to WB. Unfortunately, that is the way that it is. So we really can't, someone has to own the IP, and it's Warner Brothers. They've always owned the IP. It's a really exciting time. Happy Superhero Day, by the way, everyone. It's actually officially Superhero Day today. Who's your favourite superhero? Mine is Superman, of course. So, love Superman. Always keeps me on the straight and narrow. Well, kind of. But, yeah. So, I love Soup. So, let me know your favourite superhero and your favourite superhero movie. So, my favourite comic book movie is Batman Begins, which I mentioned on this channel before. I just think that film has this great character evolution. It's pretty amazing. It's quite a small film, but I like that element of it. So Batman Begins is my favourite DC superhero movie. What's yours? Maybe you prefer Marvel. Let me know. Let's see what you've got for me. I think I love Infinity War. I think I love Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I think they're great. Civil War's all right in places. But I'm really a DC man. So let me know your favourite DC movies. Batman then Suits and Batman Begins is a masterpiece. Absolutely. And that's from Nikolai Vega. And you know what? There's so many great DC films. People always say DC films are bad. But let's look at it. Superman the movie, Superman 2. What else we got? We got Tim Burton's 2 Batman movies. I love those movies. Nolan's Batman movies. And even the ones that are deemed as bad and not that bad, you can find something good within all of them if you're of a positive mindset. There's always something positive to look for in DC. You look at the series they've had. The Adventures of Superman in the 50s, the Batman 60s series, Smallville, one of the greatest live action interpretations for the DC universe. Superman and Lois is great. Arrow and the Flash in their first 2 seasons was awesome. Afterwards, I feel that Arrowverse went a bit downhill. Pramila Sane, we will explore DC Multiverse. Oh, yes, we're going to explore the multiverse. Barry Allen is going to break the walls down of the multiverse. Then anyone can cameo, and your favourite live-action characters can cross over with others. Not sure about the Snyderverse, but the rest of them are definitely on the table. So yes, Pramila, that is a very exciting thing. And from the moment I heard about the multiverse strategy, I was very, very excited. It's an exciting thing, but it's all about the execution. I said that on an earlier live. Got to get the execution right. It's got to work for the mainstream audience. It's got to work for a whole lot of people, because that's how you make the big money, and that's how you get longevity in these things. And it's very important now that they attract a bigger audience. And I think bringing Ann Sarnoff in, this is what she's looking at. And I think the whole studio, the whole company want to do this. The DC IP is the biggest one that they have, and they've got to explore it. It's got to be done at the highest level, because this is last chance saloons now. They have to get this right. They can't afford to make any more mistakes. Birds of Prey was the last mistake they could afford to make. But then again, Wonder Woman 84 isn't without its issues. So this is what happens when you allow people to have total freedom. And people talk about creative freedom, but the 2 times in the DCEU when it's gone really wrong is Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84. Margot Robbie had too much freedom with Birds of Prey, and Patty Jenkins had too much freedom with Wonder Woman 84. And if you've got a lunatic at the wheel, you could crash. That's my analogy for that. And we've seen it. We've seen it there. Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman is better than Wonder Woman 84. Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is a much better iteration in not James Gunn's, in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. It's not really his Suicide Squad yet, though, is there? Marvel copy our multiverse strategy. Yes, it's interesting. As soon as the multiverse strategy was announced, that Feige started talking about the multiverse strategy. I think Flashpoint is something that Kevin Feige looked at, and I think this is what he's doing with his Spider-Man movie. He's bringing back Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Can't wait for it, by the way, because it's the Sam Raimi iteration of Spider-Man. Those three movies are my favourite iterations. I don't think the other live-action ones have worked for me. I don't think they're good for kids. I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't bad, but he's mainly for kids, isn't he? He's not really for us lot. So looking forward to seeing what happens there, because who knows? Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire could replace Tom Holland. Maybe this is Tom Holland's last movie. I think contractually, I think it is Tom Holland's last movie. So that's going to be interesting as well. But back to fandom, I think I knew it would happen. I didn't know they would announce it today. So I was kind of, whoa, this is awesome. And they did the Superman the movie music as well. So they're really keeping to what they did last year. Of course, it was a big success for them. And so many things happened. And it wasn't just films. It just wasn't TV. But there were so many people there. It was great to see so much of Jim Lee. Walter Hamada talking as well. Be interesting to see what Walter has to say this time around for his plans. And I just think it was an amazing day. And I think there was two DC fandoms, wasn't there? And I think they were both awesome. But the part one was the best thing. That's when they covered the movies. And I think everyone can say that much. I don't remember experiencing so much excitement at a convention. It's better than any San Diego Comic-Con I've ever experienced. It was sensational. Now, will fans be able to go, or will it again just be kind of, what do you call it, a cyber event, if you like? I think people will be able to buy tickets and go, but you'll also be able to watch it online. That's my guessing. So that will be awesome if people can actually go there. We're talking October. Fingers crossed COVID won't be an issue anymore from that moment onwards. So, yeah, I think I think the public will be able to go to DC Fandom. I think you will be able to buy tickets, and I couldn't be more excited for the people in the United States. Obviously, I'm in the little island of Cyprus. I can't go to DC Fandom, so I'm stuck watching it on my computer screen. But that's still great, and I can't wait. And, you know, just thinking of some of the news we could get there, some of the footage we may see there, and some of the personalities we may see there. It'll be interesting. Will we see Gal Gadot? There's no Wonder Woman movie coming up, so I'd be surprised, but who knows? I think she would have had her baby by then, so she'd be good to go, hopefully. It takes a while to get over a pregnancy. I don't know, because I've never been pregnant before. But, yeah, I expect to see everyone there. Will Patty Jenkins be there? Or is it the end of the line for Patty Jenkins? Is another director going to do the third movie? Nobody knows. It's interesting. You know, Patty's doing Rogue Squadron for Lucasfilm, a Star Wars movie. Unless that gets cancelled, who knows right now? This is the thing with the industry. It's not just Warner Brothers. There's plans changing all the time. And this is what I mean. By October, who knows what announcements we're going to get. And as I say, it's awesome. It's epic. And any more questions? Anything you want to know? Anything you're excited about? Please let me know. But welcome to all the new people coming on the stream. We're just reacting to DC Fandom. It's really awesome. It's funny, isn't it, right? People come in, see my ugly face, and they leave again. Hey, I'm quite good looking, aren't I? Come on. I'm better looking than most people on YouTube. Let's be honest about it. Although those women, yeah, anyway, we don't want to talk about them. But, yeah, so very awesome if you're just joining in. DC Fandom has been announced, and I'm just reacting to it with a few people here. Really, we need some crisps and we need some beers. I just want another Superman movie with Cavill from Ilasani. Well, we all do, but nobody knows what's going on with Henry Cavill. Dave Ethan, you are not ugly. Thank you, Dave. That's very nice of you. Cheeks are a bit fat though, but what can you do? Nobody's perfect. But so thank you for that. But yeah, we all want another Superman film. We want Cavill to return. Nobody knows. A couple of years ago, he told us the cape's still in the closet. I think Cavill is still going to be involved. Listen, for example, the Flash movie. I expect all the Justice League we saw in the Snyder Cut in Justice League to turn up, apart from Ray Fisher. He's done, isn't it? Unless they can have a conversation. I just don't think that thing, they started shooting the Flash movie. It's not impossible. Who knows what might happen? But, Ray Fisher didn't know when enough was enough. And ultimately, the guy did say he wouldn't work under Walter Hamada. He said he wouldn't work on any production that involved Walter Hamada. They didn't replace him. They didn't sack him. He said he wouldn't do it. He said he wouldn't work on any production that Walter Hamada had worked on. What do you expect them to do? Halt the whole movie until he gets over it? Of course not. It had to go on, and as much as I wanted to see Ray in that, it's not the end of the world. So in Flash movie, I expect to see the whole of the Justice League. Cavill, Gadot, Momoa, obviously Barry Allen. Ben Affleck's in it, obviously, as well. And that's another bone of contention. What happens to Ben Affleck's Batfleck by the end of the Flash movie? Do they keep him? Does he go? Does he vanish? The rumor is that Keaton will be the new Batman in the central DCEU universe. It's all very, very interesting, isn't it? Nobody knows. I think this is the movie, the Flash movie, everyone's going to be looking at, because this is the one that changes the strategy. And I think this has been a plan. I think this has been a plan since BVS. And I think this is what they wanted to do. I mean, I remember doing videos in the old days when we didn't know what direction they were going to go in after Justice League. And I said, if they want to fix things, all they have to do is do a Flashpoint. We were all saying that. Anyone knows in the DC graphic novels that when they reset the universe, they do Flashpoint. It's a bit like the Doctor in Doctor Who regenerating. Now, they could have just allowed Zack to finish his arc, then do a Flashpoint. In fact, we saw an interview where Zack said that, in fact, he was going to do a Flashpoint after his arc had finished, and they're doing it now. They should have just let Zack finish his arc, but money is money, isn't it? And they got nervous, but they ended up, getting rid of Zack and losing more money than they would have done if they just kept Zack there. Another 2 Justice League movies, it would have been done. There will be no toxicity now. And then you start again. This is what they do in the comics, isn't it? One person's arc, then someone else comes in, then someone else comes in. And it looks like this is what the DCEU are going to do. And I'm fine with that. I think that's amazing. But the Flash movie is very interesting. And let's not forget Sasha Calle as Supergirl, which I'm very excited about. Grandma Blossom, Jim Lee said it was him and Walter who decided to greenlight the first DC fandom. Maybe Walter isn't that bad after all. Well, Grandma Blossom, I've never thought Walter Hamada is a bad person. I did a lot of reading up on him when he first took over as DC president. I don't think he's a bad person. And at the end of the day, and let me just say this, because I've said it on my videos as well before, the Big Mouth Daily, that, Ray Fisher comes into Walter Hamada, and Walter Hamada says, just think about this for a minute. Do you think Walter Hamada just got up in the morning and said, let's just throw Joss Whedon under the bus, Ray? Oh, no, Jeff Johns wouldn't do this. No. His overlords, his bosses at Warner Media told him to go into Ray and say this and say that. Walter Hamada is the DC president. He's not the Warner Brothers president. It's not up to him. So he went in, they prepared him, and he said he had no choice. He wants to keep his job, right? If you were DC president, right, you wouldn't be no hero, right? So Grandma Blossom, it seems like Walter even tried to work out things with Ray Fisher. I think so. I think he tried his best. And at the end of the day, Ray Fisher, I don't think Ray Fisher is interested in DC too much or Cyborg. I think Ray Fisher has got his own agenda, his own political agenda, and I see who he talks to. And if anyone else has got a complaint about the movie industry. He does the old A&E thing. So he's got another agenda. I'm proud of him for fighting for the investigation. That was a good fight, and that's fine. But, I'm done with it now. It's boring to me. Don't expect movie fans to sacrifice the one thing we can enjoy in this depressing world for a millionaire. Ray Fisher is probably a millionaire. He's made some money, right? He's an actor, right? He's all right, Jack. Let us enjoy our movies. We helped you fight for the investigation. We backed you, but enough is enough. And I'm just looking forward to the future now, right? I hope the Snyderverse is part of that future. But if it's not, we got 3 movies, 3 amazing movies, and they're sensational. What's the relationship with Zack and Hamada? I don't think there is a relationship, Grandma Blossom. I don't think they have much to do with each other. Walter Hamada wasn't part of DC when Zack was in charge of the DCEU. Walter Hamada was running the New Line Cinema horror division, and he did a great job with that franchise. So I don't think there's much of a dynamic between them. I think they spoke when they were discussing the Snyderverse, whether it will be greenlit or not. And I think that's that, Grandma Blossom. So, yeah, I don't think there's a big relationship there. And ultimately, if the studio don't want Zack back, there's nothing that Walter can do about it. Now, I don't know what Walter's opinion is of it, but I just think Walter has a vision and he wants to forward that vision. And obviously, when he was brought in, don't forget, Walter Hamada had to come in after Justice League and sort out what was going on with Aquaman. Because Aquaman was a very different movie before Walter came in. Zack wanted Superman to be in that film, Batman to be in that film. It was a bit of a different vision. And there was air bubbles and all of that. And, because James Wan and Walter Hamada had worked together before over at New Line Cinema, it was a good crossover. And I think $1 billion for Aquaman after Justice League as well was a sensational result. And I think Aquaman is a really, really good film. I don't know what you lot think of Aquaman, but I think it's one of them. To think that I'm saying this when Zack Snyder is one of the greatest visual directors of all time, I think equally Aquaman is one of the best visual movie treats of all time. It's so satisfying and easy on the eye. So I like Aquaman. I love James Wan. And by the way, everyone, what do we think of the speech bubbles that Zack did? I love Zack, but I think James Wan's idea of Atlantis is better. Every time they want to talk, they do an air bubble. It takes me out of it a bit. But what do you think? I want to know what you think of that before I sign off, because I've always been interested in that. I don't like the speech bubbles. It's not a deal breaker. Mostly what Zack does is amazing. But yeah, I don't like the speech bubbles. I'd love to know what you guys and girls and everybody else thinks. Grandma Blossom, James Wan, David F. Sandberg, Andy Muschietti all have good relationship with Walter. Yes, Grandma Blossom, and I'll tell you for why. Because James Wan, David F. Sandberg, and Andy Muschietti all worked with Walter over at New Line Cinema at the horror division. So he's bringing in directors he can trust. This is the thing. This is what Kevin Feige does at the MCU. The thing is with Zack Snyder, he's a great director and he comes across as a great person. But Zack has tunnel vision in what he wants to do. And even if a studio says, can you not do that? Like the thing when they told him don't shoot anything when they greenlit the Snyder Cut, and he went and did it anyway. I'm not going against Zack for that. I'm just saying to you that when you're working on a high-profile IP and you're working with a big studio, you have to work together. But if you're like two magnets who are trying to, and you can't ever get together because you're pushing it apart. And that's my feeling on it. Grandma Blossom, it seems they will have his back no matter what. Yes, absolutely. These directors are, know Walter Hamada. There's a good relationship. And there's a family environment there because Walter has worked with them before. So it's a little unit. They'll make these films. They'll be good. They'll be exactly how Walter wants them and the studio wants them. Now, I'm not saying these are going to be like, expansive movies like the Snyderverse. They're different. They're going to be popcorn chomping, audience pleasing rousers like the MCU is. Now, I know that's a swear word to some people, but this is the direction they're going. It doesn't mean they won't have a variety of movies, but I think the central universe will be about cameos, shared moments, individual movies, post-credit scenes dealing with the arc, whatever the arc's going to be. It could be anything. And I think this is what they're going to do. And don't forget, in 2009, Green Lantern had a post-credit scene. Don't forget that. So, and I think the first MCU movie was in 2008. So maybe they still copied the MCU. But even back then, they were doing post-credit scenes. I mean, even Masters of the Universe had a post-credit scene. I'll be back. Remember that? And he never was the poor git, was he? Grandma Blossom, I agree. James Wan Aquaman is just amazing with all the world building and great CGI. Oh my God, what a movie. I mean, to come in there, and I mean, he was making the movie anyway, but to come in there and Walter Hamada to come in after Justice League and for that movie to make over $1 billion, and it really was emotional for me watching that film as a Greek Cypriot who lived in the UK, born in the UK, coming here in Cyprus, summer holidays, feeling like an outsider. Did I belong in England? Did I belong in Cyprus? In Cyprus, they call me a foreigner. In England, they call me a foreigner. And this is what Arthur's going through in Aquaman. And so I really identify with that movie. I think it's one of the best DCEU movies. I'm not saying it's the best, but I certainly think it works. It does what it says on the tin. And that's always important. And what I like about Shazam is it might not be for you and me so much, but to think that mums and dads and, you know, whoever, right, same-sex parents, whatever, can sit there with their children and watch a family movie is very important as well. Will Walter be at DC Fandome? 100%. He was there last year and he will be there again. And that was the first time I ever heard him speak. And it was so great to hear what he had to say. It's important that the leader, the president of these films that, you know, we're excited for has something to say. I want to know about their vision. I want to know about the outlook. So it's always very, very important, Grandma Blossom, that you get the people with the vision. And we had Jim Lee there, who I think was on a lot of panels, wasn't he? Which I thought was amazing. So it really is a great event. It really is. And, you know, normally the MCU are the first to do something. But with DC Fandome, these people set this up. Walter Hamada and Jim Lee and Sarnoff, all these people that maybe some people in the fandom don't like so much, but we've also got to look at the other side of it. What about the diehard DC fans who maybe are not Snyderverse fans? What about them? Well, this new central universe is for them as well. More people, more money. You need to please your comic book diehard fans. I'm a Snyderverse fan, but mostly I'm a DC fan. The people you always need to please are your diehard fans. And ultimately, as disappointing as this is to say out loud, diehard comic book fans, and I mean diehard comic book fans, don't like the Snyderverse. That's sad. It doesn't mean we can't restore the Snyderverse, but Yusuf Al-Drujan, DC Fandome, 10,016, 2000. Oh, yeah. DC Fandome, 10th of the 16th, 2021, Yusuf. Absolutely. And welcome to the stream. Very excited, Yusuf. I really am. This is something we can all get behind, all look forward to, and it's absolutely sensational. Right, what time is it? Let's have a look at the time. Right. I say another 5-10 minutes. So, right, Grandma Blossom. It seems like a lot of Snyder fans hate Walter, but why? Right. Grandma, it all goes back to what Ray Fisher was saying about him. He was, you know, Ray Fisher was saying he was blocking the investigation. He wasn't blocking the investigation. The studio told him what to say to him. He said it. And then Ray Fisher decided to expose him publicly on social media. And then the fans just accept what Ray Fisher says. Walter Hamada didn't block no investigation. And then Ray Fisher, on that latest Hollywood Reporter article he did a few months ago or a month ago or whatever, admitted that he didn't physically block the investigation. Ray Fisher was being mischievous at the end of the day. So there's no I mean, Snyder fans can hate Walter Hamada. They can hate a man they've never met before. I'm a Snyder fan and I don't hate Walter, but I'm balanced. I can stand things. I can stand people and directors and actors, but I look at things at both sides. I know a lot of diehard DC fans who are looking forward to DC Fandome. I know a lot of Snyderverse fans. I'm a Snyderverse fan. It's all about being balanced and fair. There is no reason to hate Walter Hamada if you're a balanced, sane individual. but that's just my opinion, you know, because hate only hurts the hater. The more you hate, the more you hurt yourself. Even if the Snyderverse is never restored, hate and anger will never get you anywhere. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. All you can do is hashtag, organise events. It's a bit of fun when we do the events anyway. Do them anyway, even if it makes no difference. It's cool, right? We can all do this together, but DC has a lot of people who love it, and everyone wants different things, and this multiverse strategy is there for everyone. Maybe not for Snyder fans, but I think people who haven't been represented. And I'm talking about fans. And I think that's very, very important here, that we look at, you know, what does everyone want? Because I talk to a lot of Snyderverse fans, and a lot of things that my fellow Snyderverse fans say, why won't they do it? We're important. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of you, but there's a lot more of the general audience. There's a lot more of diehard DC fans who also need to be pleased. There's a responsibility for the studio to do that. They haven't done that because of how they started this franchise. And I think now, there could be a more balanced view on trying to please more than one side of the fandom. And I think that's important. Now, you know, I like Zack's free DC movies. I've got them. I can watch them whenever I want. I want more. But apart from doing what we're all doing, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm not going to destroy my mood over it. I'm not going to destroy my mood over millionaires. We're all just working class people, right? So our films of all that, our entertainment, our comics, whatever we like as geeks and nerds. So at the end of the day, I back Zack, but I'm not going to stand with Ray Fisher and boycott DC content. I'm sorry. There's no way I'm going to do that. Sorry, Ray Fisher, if he's not a millionaire, he's close to being a millionaire. And if people want to stand with Ray Fisher, they can. If people want to unsubscribe from my platform because you don't like what I'm saying, that's up to you. I'm just giving you my truth. My truth isn't a universal truth. It's just how I feel. And you can feel how you feel. This is what this platform's here for, right? So at the end of the day, that's how I feel, Grandma Blossom. You know, why would you hate Walter Hamada when you don't know him? What has he done? What has he done? You know, to people that hate him, why do you hate him? What has he done to you, right? We'll never know what happened in that office between him and Ray Fisher, right? Ray Fisher has given us his side of the story. Walter's been quiet because he's a professional gentleman. He has a job to do. He hasn't got time. He's not even got a Twitter account. And, you know, we can keep on blaming Jeff Johns and it's gone, right? Jeff Johns and Zack Snyder, both passionate DC fans. You know, Jeff Johns worked his way up as a runner for Dick Donner, Richard Donner, the famous director who actually directed Superman the movie. He worked his way up from nothing. And he sees DC one way and Zack Snyder sees it another. And that's difficult. I don't actually think anyone's wrong here. It's like us fans when we say, we like this version of Superman. No, I like this version of Superman. No, I like the red pants. No, I don't. I prefer the way they do it in Man of Steel and in the New 52. Everyone's got a different opinion. No opinion is wrong. If we can actually debate, we can have heated debates in a respectful manner, you know, wouldn't life be so much fairer? I think I'm going to call it quits unless you've got anything else to ask me or to mention. It's been I'm so happy I did this stream because you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being so positive. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, and I'll be back tomorrow with the official Big Mouth Daily. Oh, by the way, Dave Ethan's got something to say. Sorry, I stepped out earlier. That's okay. I won't fine you. It's cool. Now, I know people are busy and these streams can get peace. Sorry, I stepped out earlier. Peace. It's fine, Dave. No problem. I'm about to sign off for tonight. But remember, everyone, like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word about the channel. I will be doing more and more lives while still trying to do a pre-recorded Big Mouth Daily. So I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully do some more lives. Thank you for making it such a positive experience. You have made my night. You've made me really happy. I'm so excited about fandom. I know you are too. Remember, over at Twitter, I'm at Movies TV Mag. So give me a follow and maybe we can talk over there on the timeline. I'll see you again soon. Have a very good evening. It's evening here. If it's daytime there, have a great day. Go to the beach, have a few beers, cigar, whatever you want to do, toffees, anything. And I will see you again soon. See you later, and thank you for your positivity. It's been brilliant.